Okay, so we're gonna try this again for the third time. For the third time, we are bringing new content to the people. You know, Jay, when we talked about this show, we wanted to do something that was bigger than fantasy football. Yeah. You know, we got our start, or our content creator tag was formed in the fantasy football space with Destination Devy. And as you and I have grown together, have gotten to know one another, we have a ton of similar interests, and that crosses through life, even though we're in different stages of our lives. That's culture, with music, with things that are going on in sports culture, in hip hop culture, and also, you know, sports and life, man. Like all of those things we talk about almost daily with one another. And this idea popped to our head to like, let's capture this.
Yep.
Let's capture these moments. Let's capture these conversations, because, you know, there are people out there who follow us, who listen to us, who subscribe to this channel, to us, that are going through some of the same things that I'm going through as a husband, as a father, as a content creator, that are going through some of the similar things that you're going through as a young man. You know, you're younger than me, figuring out what their passion in life is going to be while juggling relationships and juggling different jobs and things of that nature. So this show, the Black Box Show, is truly just us, our raw, unfiltered, unscripted thoughts on certain topics that are happening in our culture and life and in sports. So I just want to make it very clear for everybody tuning in and watching this, y'all need to stick with us, keep rocking with us, but this is not a fantasy football show. We are not going to tell you who to draft in your dynasty league in the 23rd round. We're not going to do that. This is just real talk, and I'm glad that we thought about this project together. We truly conceptualized it together, and we are excited to bring you the Black Box Show.
Yeah, and I think most importantly, like what you said, is that it's about our relationship, right? Like everything that we have built over this time from when we first started talking, it expanded and it got a lot bigger than just sports, a lot bigger than just fantasy football. Like that to me is the coolest part about how this relationship started. It was just, you know, a DM one time, hey, your video sucks, let's make it better. Now it turned into YouTube channel, podcast, this new Black Box Show. And I think for your audience, most importantly, is like, this is going to be a great way for them to get to know you better as well. Like, they already know me a little bit. I'm the guy they make fun of, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool being that guy, but this is, like you said, is real talk. This is real conversations, sports, life, culture. Like, there's so many great things that you've told me. And let me tell you, bro, like, you've told me a lot of great pieces of advice, information. Again, in your life, you're a bit older than me, but there's still a piece of information you take from me that you ask me questions about because you feel that my opinion is valuable as well. And so I think this combination of personality, fun like we have together, seriousness, life experience, it's something that a lot of people can relate to, and why this show is going to be so great.
Yeah, and I am a big proponent of and a big believer of just, you get out of life what you put into it, man. If you put positive vibes, positive energy into the atmosphere, then at some point that same level of love and appreciation will be reciprocated to you. Like I'm a believer in that wholeheartedly, man. And, you know, it's going to be really fun to talk about some of the, not just the great things that are happening with us, but some of the struggles. Like there are things that shit, we all got problems, man. We all have things that bother us, that make us sad, that trigger certain and elicit certain responses and emotions. And I think a lot of times, especially for males, we don't want to talk about that. Like there's this machismo persona around being this, you know, athletic male, or I'm this football guy, this sports guy, when in reality, man, I hurt too, man. I cry, I go through things, I struggle. I'm still trying to find my way. Even at 34 years old, I'm still trying to find what it is that I want to do for the rest of my life. But I'm excited to share this journey with you, and I'm excited to share this journey with everybody else that's watching. And once again, it's sports, it's culture, it's life. This is the Black Box Show. All right, man. So one of the things that I really wanted like to talk about with you today is something that sort of swept the entire culture everywhere by storm. And I really don't know what it is. I'm in the game. I'm in the game right now. But this Top Shot thing, this Top Shot, NBA Top Shot, we're buying video clips and doing all of these things and collecting these moments, right? These NFTs, and I don't even know, non-fungible tokens. I guess that's what NFT stands for. Don't even really know what the hell that means.
Non-fungible tokens.
All I know is that I can spend $9 on a pack of NBA video clips and potentially flip that $9 into thousands of dollars. So sign me up. I'm all in. But is this something like you're in the game? You're in, like, you are more well-versed in this NBA Top Shot thing than I am. So, like, is this something that's legit? Is it here to stay? I know Michael Jordan and somebody else invested like 300 M's into the dapper people.
KD, MJ, Klay Thompson, like Nolan Arenado from Major League Baseball. Like, tons of people are, honestly, bro, I think people are legitimately trying to get money in like as fast as they can. But the problem is that Dapper is only going to allow so many people to invest, and that's just the craze of Top Shot. But to get back to your point about what is it, non-fungible tokens basically mean they have no value. So whether it's a sports card, whether it's whatever, ultimately anything you buy that's a collectible could go to zero. That to me is the most important thing. Like, we're talking about making money investments. It is important to understand that any of these things can go to zero. But when you talk about you buy a $9 pack, it's not unheard of to make $50, $100, $200 on that pack if you get the right moment in it. And especially when you talk about what's going on right now with how high price moments are, you almost find no moments that are $9. So you talk about you're going to get 3 moments and you could probably sell them all for $10 a piece. Why are you not in on that? Now, I understand this is a new generation, digital collectibles, cards are still a thing. People are going to say, why would I buy a YouTube clip when I can buy a card? Well, to me, someone who's a little bit younger, a card is a piece of cardboard. So what's the difference between a piece of cardboard and a YouTube clip? They're both worthless at the end of the day to me. So why would I not buy a LeBron turn around, fade away, 3-pointer, looks at the bench, crowd goes crazy, he goes crazy, over just his random card from 2020. Like, to me, it's not the same. But the thing I love about Top Shot is that it's expanding, it's growing. NBA players are buying into this. That tells you more than anything. If NBA players are buying into it, you should at least say to yourself, why do I not know what this is? Why am I not learning more about it? And that to me is so exciting. When you talk about right now, I'm already signed up for it. I actually got to get you signed up for it because they already like low-key have UFC in the works. So you're telling me you could get, a submission, a crazy knockout in UFC. And then talking about expanding into the NFL, they have an agreement with the NFLPA. And then, like, honestly, man, the possibilities are endless right now. For what you see Top Shot is, it's the fastest growing NFT marketplace in the world, period. So just think about it from that sense. It's the fastest growing marketplace in the world. I believe they have already over $1 billion in sales or something crazy like 500 million. So for that to already happen, and basically this started from, they started in August, but it really picked up in January. You see Mark Cuban talking about it, Gary Vee, Forbes, Business Insider, like all these big media outlets are like, what is Top Shot and should you get involved? That's why I think you need to pay attention to at least what it is. Whether you want to invest your money or not, that's up to the individual. But as you're saying, you can make money off this. I'm making money off this. So we got to at least talk about it because we're both people that are in it for what?
Yeah, that's
the money. That's
I don't
what we're
give
in
a
it
shit
for.
about collecting. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I don't care about any of that. I'm in it for, and $9 is not even an investment. Like if I'm paying $9 or $14, that's what you can't even get a meal at Texas Roadhouse for $14. So it's not even an investment. To me, it's a no-brainer. And while I may not know the intricacies and the ins and outs of the NFT game or Top Shot, I know that if I get a dope moment with a low serial number, I can flip that. And that's in both of us, man. We talk about it all the time. Like I dabble in the stock market and I know you do as well. And there are stocks that are moving because of this NFT movement. So I'm with you, man. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't know a ton about it and really don't really care to know a ton about it. All I need to know is when they're going to drop, how I get in line, how I purchase it, and then how to
You can't miss a pack drop now, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
and when you're talking about the players that you can collect, the moments that you can collect, I know that, in the trading card world, you want to get rookie quarterbacks, right? Rookie quarterbacks are all the craze. Like, you get the rookie quarterbacks, those are the player cards that hold a lot of value. But in this Top Shot game, I'm pretty sure, like, because basketball is different, you want the LeBron Jameses, you want the KDs, right? And when you're talking about the young cats, you probably want Zion Williamson and, one of the hottest names in the game. And I'm not even in it like that. And I already know it's LaMelo Ball.
Hell yeah,
LaMelo
man.
Ball is, like, when I went to go look up how much LaMelo Ball costs, and I'm like, I ain't finna get no LaMelo Ball moments paying this much for him. But he's an interesting young player for so many different reasons beyond the Top Shot. Like, yes, his Top Shot moments are some of the most expensive ones out there, but LaMelo's whole path to relevancy is fascinating. It is so fascinating, and it's had these ebbs and flows of he was great in high school, then his career was over because he didn't finish high school and his dad screwed him over because he's not going to go to college, and then he goes to Lithuania of all places, comes back, and then now, and then throughout all that time, he grew like 8 inches. I mean, his entire story, the whole Ball family story is really an interesting case study, and I know a lot of people do not like the Ball family, and mainly because of Lavar Ball. But I, for one, as a parent, I don't see what he did outside of empower and encourage his kids to be the absolute best versions of themselves that they could be. And because of that, as a father of 2 young boys, if my boys came to me tomorrow and said, "Dad, I want to play baseball. I love baseball. All I want to do is swing a bat and throw a baseball," I promise you, I'm going to do every single thing that I can do to put them in a situation to be fulfilled in life playing baseball. That means camps. That means working out. That means practicing. That means getting them into those things. As long as, and screw sport. They could tell me, "Dad, I want to be a chef."
Anything.
Like, I love to cook. I love to paint. I'm going to do everything in my power to put them in a situation to be the best damn chef they can be. And I don't get all the LaVar Ball hate. Yes, he said outlandish things. No, he can't beat Michael Jordan. The fact that you even got the fact that you even got upset about something that we all know wasn't going to happen, just chill out. Like, I just don't get all the hate with LaVar Ball, and then now the hate on his kids, Lonzo and LaMelo, man.
Yeah, that's a hilarious narrative when you really think about it, because at the end of the day, LaVar Ball, he's a personality, man. That's what he is. And he's smart. He's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. Because when you talk about a player like Lonzo, who really probably wasn't as good as we thought he was, and now we're seeing in the NBA, but when you talk about Melo, and I believe from the very beginning, he said Melo's the best. Like, he's the best when he was younger. He showed the most progression as a ball handler, as a shooter. But going back to LaVar's a good father, man. This dude roots for his kids more than anybody. And I know we can get into it, but you talk about famous fathers, like LaVar may go down as one of the most well-known, dedicated fathers for his children. Like, that to me speaks volumes when you talk about a guy who, no matter what, he said, "My kid's better than this guy, LeBron James. I'm better than Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter who it was. Put my boys up against anybody, and we'll give him the business." How many times do you hear him say that? He go on First Take. He go on Get Up, ESPN, Fox, whoever. He'll talk crap to anybody. He doesn't care. But when you talk about, if your father talked like that to you, that would instill so much confidence in you, because he believes in you. He believed in you from day one when no one else did, and he continues to believe in you. And that's one of the reasons I have a lot of respect for him. At the beginning, I was like, who's this clown on my TV? Like, get him off. Like, why is he spewing all this nonsense? But now he got 2 kids to go number 2 overall in the draft. Like 2. How many kids you got go number 2 in the draft? I'll tell you, it's probably 0. Everyone out of you watching there, 0. But he got 2. And that, at the end of the day, speaks for itself. And that's why, to me, you have to respect what he did. You may not like it in the moment, but what he did in the end result is empower his boys to be great. And that is the ultimate goal of any parent. And I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Yeah, and that's why I don't have a problem with anything that he did. Again, if you're upset over outlandish statements, I mean, come on, man. Like, do you really believe that he could beat Michael Jordan? Regardless if to me, that's just silly. Like, I think a lot of people just don't like the fact that they've probably tried to do that with their own family, with their own kids, and weren't that successful. And he figured out a way to market himself and market his boys and market his family name. And there's no reason for me personally, there's no reason for anybody to be upset. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not the only dad or mom or parent to push their kids to be the best they can be. Look at the Watt family. They got like 3 brothers in the NFL. The St. Brown family, they got 3 boys that played high-level college football, 2 that are in the NFL, or 1 that's in the NFL and another one who's going to be in the NFL. The Williams sisters, both of them, top tennis players. Tiger Woods with his son. Like, I don't think people liked how Lavar Ball went about it.
Yeah.
But who the hell are you to judge how somebody should? That's the whole thing I don't understand about society in general. Like, how are you the society police? You're going to tell me what's an acceptable way for me to act? Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not hurting anybody. If you think what I'm saying is stupid, that doesn't really change from a lot of things that we've seen from people in high places in this country that have said a bunch of stupid things.
Facts.
So how are you the police or the gatekeeper of how and what I should say? I just don't get it. I think that he did exactly what I would do as a parent. Would I have taken to social media? Would I have taken the First Take? I don't know what the hell I would have said if Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp asked me, how good is your boys? I'm not going to say they're not very good. I'm going to be like, they're the best damn baseball players I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
They're the best baseball players I've ever seen. They're going to be better than Jackie Robinson. They're going to be better than Babe Ruth. Like, that's what I believe my boys to be.
Yeah.
And especially if they were that talented, right? Like, if my boys were out there cranking 50 home runs a season in high school, what am I going to say? Like, I believe my boys are going to be the best baseball players to ever live. Like, you may think that's outlandish, but damn it, I believe in it. You know what? LaVar believed. He had the courage of his conviction. He stood up on his platform. He talked his talk, and he had 2 boys get picked in the top half of the NBA draft, the top of the NBA draft. So for all the negativity and all the hate, listen, I ain't got much to say, man. But speaking of basketball and sports and football and tennis and all these different sports, I think it's only right.
Yeah.
In this first show, we set the precedent.
Yeah.
We set the precedent for what we look for in sports figures and sports athletes. And I'm going to ask you to name your top 5 GOATs.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore, top 5 players, whatever sport you want to choose. There's no limit to the criteria. Whatever you want to build your top 5 list on, you do it, and explain to the people your top 5 GOATs, Mount Rushmore players of all time. Let's go. 5-1.
Okay, so number 5, we're starting off with Steph Curry, because Steph Curry changed basketball forever. And I love everything he does off the court. He's an amazing, amazing, talented basketball player. Probably will never get the respect he really deserves for what he did. And that's okay. I can live with that. But I'm a big fan of Steph Curry. I'm a bigger fan, honestly, of what he does off the court. I think he's an incredible player on the court. And he's a great golfer, too. If people don't know, he's an exceptional golfer. Now, does that matter to the GOAT conversation? Maybe a little bit. I like to include it. Golf's a hard sport.
Zero.
It matters a little bit. We can talk about that some other time when we talk about golf a little bit later. Number 4, we're talking about Serena Williams. The greatest tennis player as far as I'm concerned ever. a extremely influential woman, an extremely influential black woman for young girls. I believe she also owns one of the soccer teams, or is a part owner of one of the soccer teams for the Women's Soccer League forming in the United States. Like, there's just so many things to love about Serena. On top of the fact she's just a winner. 24 Grand Slam titles. Like, what, you can't take anything away from what Serena did on the court. And just just everything about her, man. Every time you hear her speak, you just want to hear more from her. You don't get enough Serena. As a mom, as an influential figure, there's just so many reasons to love her. And that's why I love her, and that's why she's at number 4. Number 3, I'm talking about Tiger Woods. Again, golf. We talked about it already, because we've done this show 3 times. But the reason why we watch golf is because of Tiger Woods. It's the only reason why I watch golf. And I cannot tell you how much satisfaction I got watching him win another major championship. If you didn't know how good Tiger Woods was because you didn't watch golf when he came up, one of the most dominant runs in history, period, in golf. Probably the most dominant in most people's cases. Completely popularized golf. You hear people talk about Tiger Woods, I watch golf and I'm black and I'm rooting for Tiger Woods. Like that's it. That's what people do. It went so far that white people were cheering for Tiger Woods, which again, it's just an unprecedented thing for Tiger to be so dominant. As well he did with his own branding. And yes, he's had his issues, but Tiger's just a very influential figure in sports and one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen, period. Now, number 2, I'm going to LBJ, LeBron James, because of what he does on a basketball floor. It can't be matched. Like, there's just so many things he does well, from team construction to getting his players in the right spots, winning championships, what he does philanthropically around the world, what the brand he's built for himself, the pressure that was on him at such an early age. He's fulfilled everything. And honestly, for me, I've talked to you, I'm very much bigger into what these athletes do off their surface of play, much more than they are on the surface of play, because all these athletes are great. But I love to see the things that he's done off the court, philanthropically, separating himself from certain athletes. And that's what's just so amazing about LeBron, and one of the reasons why I love him more for his off-the-court stuff than what he does on the court. Number 1, it's on the shirt, back to back. This shirt is almost as old as I am. It might even be older than me, honestly. It's from 92-93. It is made in the US of A. Back-to-back, Jordan on the front, Pippen on the back. That's just how we do it. It's got to be MJ, 6 for 6. Retired, came back, won 3 more, went to play baseball. He was still not a bad baseball player, but... And then as well, Jordan Brand, setting up Bubba Wallace with his own brand in NASCAR. Like, just what he means to sneaker culture, what he means to all of these athletes he inspires every day. Everyone wants to be like Mike. And that's just what I think it comes down to. Mike is probably going to go down as the most influential athlete. He's my number 1 GOAT. I can't wait to hear yours. I'm real excited for this.
Well, before we get to mine, I gotta go to number 5.
Okay.
I gotta go to your 5th player.
Okay.
I asked you for your GOATs.
I love me some Steph Curry, man.
You give me
I think
Steph
he's so
Curry.
underrated. I think he's so underrated.
Okay, we're not talking about who's overrated, underrated. We're talking about the greatest of all time. And listen, I didn't put any constraints on what you could use for this. But it's hard for me to put Steph Curry in the same type of conversation with Serena, with Tiger, with LeBron, with MJ now. I'm not saying that he can't get there before his career is all said and done. But Steph isn't the best player in the NBA now. He's probably not the 2nd or 3rd best player in the NBA right now.
Depends.
He's not the best player. He's not a top 5 player in NBA history. So for me to have Steph Curry on this pantheon of true GOATs seems a little premature, man.
Oh, it is. I can agree to that. It's a little premature. But I just think, like, when you talk about a guy who literally changed basketball in my own era, right? Like, in the era that I watched basketball, he changed it, like, completely. 40% of shots right now from the field are 3-pointers because of one dude and one dude only, and that is Steph Curry. You just don't see that in sports. To see a player legitimately change the way a game is played entirely, that's just not something that I'm used to seeing. And as well, I'm a big fan of the Curry brand. As like you said, it's still early, but I think the potential for it is just enormous. It's not something we'll ever see from LeBron or Kevin Durant or any of these guys that are signed to Nike. He went his own route. He went after Jordan. He didn't go after LeBron. No, sir. He's going after MJ himself. And I really do admire that confidence to go out on his own and do his own thing that way. That's one of the reasons why I have him as a GOAT on my list. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Curry in his career, and I do think there's a lot ahead of him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Listen, I think there's a lot ahead for Steph as well. And again, this is your list. It's not my list, so I'm knocking it. I'm just gonna tell you, that's a tough spot to put Curry.
Yeah,
over.
and even for me, man, like my next guy is Kobe, because again, Kobe inspired this entire generation of basketball players pretty much. When you talk about his 5 championships, what he's done for women's sports, especially having his daughter Gigi, who unfortunately passed with him, but his incredible inspiration. Like, I love what Kobe's done for so many athletes around the world, men, women. Again, this dude speaks 4 different languages. He's talking crap to Luka in his native language, in Slovenian. And even Luka's like, who the hell is that talking to me? And it was Kobe. Like, it's just, he does things that are just beyond words. The way people talk about him is just, it's so inspiring to think how many people he touched. And yes, of course, he's passed. And that's so terrible. Because there was just so much ahead of him. And so many people talk about how he was going to do a lot more after basketball than what he did during basketball, which is scary to think about because of how much he accomplished on the court.
Yeah, it's crazy when you just think about when you think about athletes in general, how many have truly left an everlasting impact on their sport. And as I look across different sports, I don't think there have been more impactful athletes in general outside of the NBA, like really. And I'm thinking, you talked about Mike, you talked about Steph, we talked about LeBron, but a player who's not, he's not in my top 5, but he's not even an honorable mention. But Allen Iverson, what Allen Iverson did for the culture of basketball. I mean, they changed the dress code rules.
Changed the rules, yeah.
Because of AI, the cornrows, the tattoos, the dreads, the wristband, like I remember getting an Allen Iverson jersey and thinking that was like the coolest thing on earth. I remember when I got my first AI jersey, I had the question shoes and the answers. Like, I wanted cornrows because of Allen Iverson, man. He just, like, you just think about that. Like, NBA players have such a long reach because basketball is worldwide. Football, American football is really just big in the U.S., right? Yeah. Football is not even, that's soccer in Europe. That's soccer overseas. So basketball is the same in Lithuania as it is in Europe, as it is in South Central Los Angeles. It's basketball, man. So yeah, it's just amazing how many impactful NBA players have come around. But for me, I'm going to start with my honorable mention. Well, we'll save the honorable mention. So I've switched this list like 2 times. And for me, at 5 on my Mount Rushmore, I've got Usain Bolt.
Okay.
I have the fastest man who's ever lived. The fastest man who's ever lived. I've got Usain Bolt, what he was able to do. There's a difference between winning a race and destroying your competition.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt destroyed his competition. It was not even close for not 1, not 2, but 3 straight Olympic Games. World record holder in the 100-meter dash, world record holder in the 200-meter dash, world record holder in the 4x1 meter relay, and Usain Bolt made it look easy.
Yeah.
When you talk about utter domination and box office, anytime Usain Bolt was racing, I was from 2008 to 2016, anytime Usain Bolt was on, I need to watch Usain Bolt. It was box office.
Never missed a race, man. Never missed a race. Can't do it.
For him to be 6'5", 6'4", 6'6", whatever he is, and have the speed that it was truly in winning races, pulling up, looking at the camera, beating his chest, like, and no kind of PEDs, no kind of, nothing
never.
that he got caught. That doesn't matter if he ain't got caught.
Facts.
But he just, he was utterly and completely dominant in track and field. And maybe we'll see somebody faster than him, but what he was able to do for the sport of track and field, I think he deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of GOATs. At 4, I do, like you, have Serena Williams. Her impact for not just women in tennis, but young black women. You can't understate how dominant Serena was in tennis. I mean, she put fear in opponents. Like,
Yep.
she's bigger and faster and stronger than everybody else out there. So much to the point that there were ridiculous rumors. Remember when people were like, "Is she even a woman?
Yeah.
And she might be a man."
She's
like,
huge.
like,
She's
she's
jacked up opponents every single
she
weekend.
is the epitome of just muscle, right?
Yeah.
But and she's doing so much off of the tennis court as well. But any greatest of all time conversation that does not include Serena Williams, that list should be thrown in the trash, because Serena Williams is one of the greatest athletes of all time, period. So definitely I'm glad she's on both of our lists. For me at 3, Tiger Woods. Look, I can't play golf to save my life, but I got clubs in the garage.
Yep.
I take my black ass to the golf course, and I'm trying to hit balls because of Tiger Woods. I feel like I just got black folks. We just got to try, because Tiger Woods was out there dominating golf, like you said, one of the most dominant 10-year stretch in the golf game that we've ever seen. I mean, it's tight. Like, he changed golf for everybody.
Yep.
But it was the first time that people like you and I saw somebody look like us go to the golf course and win.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was just out there like the token black dude that's on the PGA Tour. He was one of the greatest golfers to ever live. Him and Jack Nicklaus, right?
Yeah,
that's really what it boils down to. Those 1 and 2, no matter how you slice it. And I know he's had like issues post career, or he's still playing, but you know, in the back 9 of his career, no pun intended. But he changed the game. Tiger Woods, one of the greatest athletes of all time, one of the greatest golfers of all time. He's on everybody's top 5 list. At 2, I got MJ. I got Michael
The
Jordan.
disrespect.
Now, let me preface this. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to ever live.
All right.
I think he's the greatest basketball player to ever live. But in my Mount Rushmore, there was no criteria here, right?
Yeah.
There's some things that MJ didn't do that LeBron has done that I just really appreciate and can relate more to Bron. Bron, he is number 1 on my Mount Rushmore. I'm not going to bury the lead. LeBron is number 1 on my Mount Rushmore of GOATs. 17 years of dominance, NBA titles with 3 different teams. The model of just consistency and health. He's going to go down in NBA history as top 5 in points, top 5 in assists, top 5 in, I think he's top 5 in rebounds as well. I mean, just he's going to go down as one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player in NBA history. But then off of the court, he's one of the greatest sports philanthropists. He's sending kids to college, changing generational curses. He's building schools and helping kids get an education from places like Akron, Ohio. Michael Jordan didn't have to deal with Twitter and social media. Like LeBron, from the time that he was on the cover of the Slam magazine, when he was at St. Vincent St. Mary's, to right now, he has been in the public eye, and you've never once heard about a scandal, a controversy, anything like that. He has just been squeaky clean in the public eye.
Somehow, right? It's crazy.
Now, I'm not saying he's been that behind closed doors, but you've never heard anything about LeBron James come out to the contrary. And, MJ didn't have to deal with Twitter and social media in this era of scrutiny where paparazzi is surrounding you every step of the way. He didn't have to deal with that. When MJ was approached with some of the same issues that LeBron James was approached with and faced with social justice and racial equality, MJ said, I ain't talking about that. I'm not messing up my money. I'm not doing that. LeBron James put himself out there calling out anybody and everybody, from the commander-in-chief to media to whomever. Like, he took a stand for what he believed in, and because of that, that's my GOAT. Like, I look at LeBron and I look at my boys and say, that's somebody you want to be like.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you grow up to be any kind of sports figures, LeBron James is a role model for young kids.
Oh, he's this staple.
Yeah, he's a role model for everybody, man. So my goats, Usain Bolt, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. And a player that missed the cut that I feel like should be in there is Tom Brady. 6 Super Bowls. When I think of the NFL and who's the greatest players to ever play, Tom Brady's the first name that pops in my head. And this last Super Bowl that he won with Tampa Bay, like, solidified it for me. I mean, he was already up there. But
he's already the greatest football player of all time. I don't think it's even a question.
6 Super Bowls, and then you took a Tampa Bay team that missed the playoffs in their first year, and you win in dominant fashion. I mean, he's 40-something years old, and he's still dealing.
And beat the reigning champs.
I feel like it's egregious not to have Tom Brady on a top 5 list. I really do. I feel so bad, but I think Usain Bolt deserves more credit for what he did in his sport.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking, Serena, Tiger, LeBron, or MJ down.
Yeah, no, I think like you talked about, man, it's just the sheer dominance on and off the field. And as well, I think part of it too is like Tom Brady is not a role model for me either. And I look at all these other people I have ahead of them. I view them more as role models, and like I don't have kids the way you do, but I would say look to these 5 before you look at Tom Brady. Because I still remember Tom Brady wearing a MAGA hat. And it is what it is. You have the right to believe what you want to believe. But these are the people that I want. Like if I had a young girl, look at Serena. And as well, another name I wanted to bring up because you didn't really talk about it was Naomi Osaka, who literally at center court after beating Serena for the first time cried because she beat her idol, the person she looked up to for her entire life. And now you see her wearing the masks of black people that were killed in police shootings. Again, just a huge force for women in sports. And I think that when it comes down to it, that's what I look for in a GOAT. As much as I love them as athletes, I love to see what they do beyond that. How are they as people, as role models for future athletes and future individuals overall.
Damn, I mean, you hitting heavy stuff, man. I guess the player the athlete that I was thinking about put it in my pantheon wouldn't have fit because I was thinking about Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's one of the greatest boxers to ever live. And I just you talked about real stuff. I'm just talking about like ratchet shit that I like to see. It's the money team.
It's Floyd the black box, man. It's anything.
It's Floyd Mayweather. He's beating cats down, then he's going to the strip club, and he's got private parties, and he's just blowing money. It's arrogant, it's cocky. We need to cut that. White Fantasy Show, Black Box Show. We can't have that.